So you might have seen Ultralinks on a website you have surfed to. Or maybe you have even installed the Ultralink browser extension. You know what an Ultralink looks like and how to interact with them. In this video, we are going a little deeper and examine how you create, delete, and modify Ultralinks. To join our community of editors, which enables you to edit existing Ultralinks as well as create new ones, you first need an Ultralink.me account. Ultralink.me accounts are free and only require a valid email address to sign up. Once you have logged into your Ultralink.me account, you can access the internals of an Ultralink through its card interface. You can access an Ultralink card by clicking on the Ultralink.me link found here on any Ultralink. This will bring up the card interface in a convenient, seamless way, making edits easy and fun. If you follow the Ultralink.me link, it will take you to the web page for that particular Ultralink where you can access the card interface, as well as inspect interaction statistics and see what web pages this Ultralink may be found on. You can also find Ultralink cards through the Ultralink.me dashboard once you log in with your account. We will now take a tour of the Ultralink card interface itself, explain how an Ultralink is structured, and how that structure affects its behavior. At the top of every Ultralink is the Words section. Here are listed all the words, or sets of words and characters, that this Ultralink will match against. When any of these are found in a piece of content, it knows that this Ultralink needs to be added there. By clicking on the Edit button in the upper right corner of the Words section, we can then make additions, deletions, and changes to the word list for this Ultralink. You can change any existing words simply by editing them in the input fields. You can remove them altogether by either clicking on the minus button on the left side or by clearing the input box and hitting the Enter or Return key. To add a new word, simply start typing in the red input box at the bottom of the Words section, and then hit Enter or click on the plus button. The checkbox just to the right of the input field determines whether this word should be a case-sensitive match. In languages that have case, such as English, sometimes titles and other proper nouns may need to match only when the case is exactly the same. The number on the right edge is something we call the connection threshold. It relates to the connections section down at the bottom of the Ultralink card. We will come back to this concept and examine it in detail when we go over that section, but for now, consider that sometimes a particular word is only meant to be used in a certain context. You may want an Ultralink to match in one situation, but not in another. This value helps to make sure that the correct Ultralink is matched. A value of 0 means that this word will always cause a match against this Ultralink, whereas a non-zero value means that other related Ultralinks also need to be present before a match can happen. On the left side of each word is another checkbox. This checkbox indicates the primary word of the Ultralink. The primary word is the one that best represents the Ultralink. The primary word is used to represent the Ultralink in many situations and can also affect the priority of Ultralink matching when in competition with other Ultralinks. There can be at most one primary word, but an Ultralink can also have none at all. Next up is the Categories section. Ultralink categories are used mostly for organizational purposes and function a lot like tags. Each category is a string that can optionally use backslashes for hierarchy. Similar to the Word section, you can modify the categories associated with an Ultralink by pressing the Edit button in the upper right corner. Again, you can edit the categories with the input field and delete categories by clicking on the minus button or clearing the input field and hitting Enter. New categories are added through the red input field by clicking the plus button or hitting Enter. There is no hard and fast set of rules governing the format and granularity of category strings, and we are continually changing things as we learn. However, it can be helpful to know what kind of category hierarchy is already in the database so that a standard can emerge. When you start typing in the new category input field, a search of the existing category tree will automatically start. If the string you are typing has any results, a small category tree will be displayed in a dark gray box below the input field. The component of the category string that matched your input is highlighted in pink. If one of the results looks like what you are going for, then just click on it and it will fill in the input field. The category search will only start after you've typed at least 4 characters and will stop if you have a backslash character or if you remove characters from the input so that there are less than 4 remaining. Now we come to the most substantial part of the Ultralink, the links section. Here we see all the hyperlinks that are associated with this Ultralink. The link itself is displayed as well as a link type icon that identifies what type of link this is. If you click on this link type icon, the browser will bring up that link in a new tab. Multiple links of the same type might be grouped together, and a number indicating how many links grouped is shown on the link type icon. To see all the grouped links individually, simply click on the Expand button. As before, if we want to modify the link section, we need to hit the Edit button on the right. Similar to the sections above, we can modify, delete, and add new links in the same manner as words and categories. Next to the link type icon is a pull-down menu of all the link types that are currently supported. You can use this menu to change the link type manually. You shouldn't need to manually change the link type too often though. When entering text into the input field, if you then hit the Enter button, the link type will smartly be inferred from the hyperlink itself. You can always use the manual override if you need to. Image links are a special link type, which are treated a bit differently than other link types. First, the image link type icon is simply a small version of the linked image. Every image link icon also has a checkbox in its upper right-hand corner. This checkbox indicates whether or not that image should have rounded corners when displayed in the Ultralink. By default, all image links are given rounded corners, but sometimes they look better when they are displayed normally. If your image links have transparent backgrounds, then they will generally look better without rounded corners. On the right side of the link is something called the Locale Bias tab. An Ultralink can have multiple links of the same type, and this is often the case when you have links that contain essentially the same content but in different languages or intended for different geographic audiences. You might want to specify that if the user speaks a certain language, then when the Ultralink is displayed, it should favor a specific link over any others of the same type. In the Locale Bias tab, there is a pull-down menu for both a language bias and a geographic bias. By default, links do not have any bias, and in general, you should not need to specify a locale bias unless you already have multiple links of the same type. If the user's locale settings do not match any of the locale bias preferences, then it will fall back on any link of that type which does not have a locale bias. We saw earlier that multiple links of the same link type could be grouped together. This only happens when the links are of the same type. They are not of the image link type, and they each have different locale bias settings from each other. Link grouping can be viewed as simply combining different versions of the same link together to make Ultralinks easier to work with and navigate. When links are grouped together, the link that is displayed on the top of the group and linked by the link type icon is the one that best matches your own locale preferences as indicated by your web browser. When you have multiple links of the same type, but the same locale bias settings, a checkbox will appear to the left of the link input field. This is the primary link checkbox. Similar to the primary word distinction we examined earlier, the primary link is the one that best represents the Ultralink for that link type. This is most often used for image links. There can be at most one primary link per type and locale setting, or you can choose to have none at all. When an Ultralink is brought up, which has multiple image links attached to it, it will cycle through them beginning with the primary image link, if it exists. All other link types, however, will be reduced down to exactly one link per type, based on the locale settings. Sometimes you might want to add a link to an Ultralink, but the time needed to search and find the one you want can be significant. Below the new link input field is a link search field. This is a handy tool that can help you find links from many different sources on the internet. Simply enter what you want to search for in the input field, select what internet resource you want to search from, and click the search button or hit enter in the input field. The results of the search, if any, are displayed below. If you see what you are looking for, then just click on it to quickly add it to the Ultralink. To remove existing search results, you clear the input field and press enter. Near the bottom is the Connections section. This is where you can optionally connect this Ultralink to other related Ultralinks. A connection indicates that there is a relationship between this Ultralink and another. The connection type is indicated here along with a directional arrow indicating which general direction this connection can be considered to be. For some connection types, the meaning of the direction can be more important than others. The connection type string is similar to category strings in that it is also unstructured and can use the / character to indicate hierarchy. Like categories, we are continually learning and refining the set of connection types in our database. On the right side is a visualization of the connected Ultralink. Like links, connections can also be grouped when there are two or more connections of the same connection type and direction. Just hit the Expand button to examine them individually. After hitting the Edit button, you can add and delete connections in a similar way as above. You can enter the connection type into the input field and to select which Ultralink you want to connect. Type a search term into the input field and hit the Enter button. If you see what you are looking for in the results, you can click on it to signify the connection. You can configure the connection direction by clicking on the arrow button to toggle it back and forth. You can also change the Ultralink in a connection by clicking on the existing connection Ultralink to search for a different one. Other than good organization of data, there is an important reason to add connections. When Ultralinks are connected to each other, it adds more information about what Ultralinks should show up in which places. When a piece of content is analyzed, there might be a word that can resolve to more than one Ultralink, such as multiple people with the same name. The Ultralink code examines the other Ultralinks around that word and observes what connections each contending Ultralink has with the surrounding ones. Almost every time, the Ultralink with the higher number of connections is the correct one for the situation, and it knows that it should be the top one displayed. The richer the connections in the database, the more accurate the determination will be. When multiple Ultralinks are competing to attach to the same word, the connections help us pick the right one. But what about Ultralinks that don't have any competition for a word, but the word in that context is actually not referring to the Ultralink? This is where the connection threshold value comes into play, back up in the word section. A word's connection threshold is the amount of connection points an Ultralink must make with the Ultralinks around it to successfully resolve to that word. When examining Ultralink connections, 2 points are given for any Ultralink on the page that has a direct connection to the Ultralink under examination. 1 point is given for any Ultralink that is 2 degrees away, meaning that the 2 Ultralinks are not directly connected, but both of them share a connection to a third Ultralink in the database. If the total number of points meets the connection threshold, then it knows that Ultralink is what the word is referring to. If it is not met, then it knows that the word is referring to something else, and so the Ultralink should not be added. Words default to having a connection threshold of 0, meaning that no connection calculations are needed, and the word always resolves to that Ultralink. Once you have made all your desired changes to an Ultralink, you can commit them to the database with the buttons at the bottom. For new Ultralinks, you will see a Create Ultralink button. For existing Ultralinks, you will see an Update button and a Delete button. These buttons will perform their corresponding actions and then immediately reload the updated Ultralink card. This concludes the overview of the Ultralink card interface. We are continually making improvements and hope to make it more useful, powerful, and intuitive in the future.